Hello and welcome to Back to Basics with Sandra and Lyndall. Today we are discussing are influencers responsible for creating unrealistic standards on how to live your life? So Sandra, do you think social media is the new Dolly magazine?
Yes, I do. Only because when we were younger, we used to just every week, I don't know about you, but I used to wait for the latest release of Dolly magazine, right? And then
Dolly, Cleo,
Girlfriend. And I used to buy, I would buy the magazine for, say, that lip gloss that would be on the front page, or that, that new Revlon. Yeah, the freebie, right? But we were influenced by what was on that front page. So it was 5 steps to lose 5 kilos by summer.
Yeah.
Or the best ab exercise,
Yeah, totally wild. But it's so funny that you say that, because I feel like that type of advertising is still around, and it's that clickbait advertising that really still sucks people into this day. And it's something that frustrates me so much because it's so false. And, I think there's been such an evolution with social media as well. I've been on social media for probably 20 years now, and it started with LiveJournal and Tumblr, way back when.
And I have not heard of LiveJournal, by the way.
It's kind of like a blogging platform, essentially, and it's still around. And I actually started my first business on LiveJournal.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, selling hair extensions.
Wild, yeah.
As you do when you're 15. Pretty funny. But it's really interesting to see how it's evolved. It started with those platforms. We moved on to, say, MySpace.
MySpace with the music.
Having a top 8 friends list is so savage.
Can I say my husband was in my top 8?
I feel like my top 8 was just like a revolving door of people that I was just, liking at the time or having fights with at the time. It's pretty funny. You got your MySpace, but then we obviously moved on to your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, and now it's your TikTok as well. And it's so interesting to watch the transition and to watch different types of people become, I guess, influencers on those platforms as well, because I think so many of us aspire to be some kind of influencer in a way, because there's some kind of celebrity status aligned with being an influencer. And I feel like people almost kind of put them on a pedestal.
Yeah, we do.
And idolize them and want to know what they're doing and, what they're using, what they're buying, all of this sort of stuff. And I think it's just so wild to watch. So, what's your opinion on the evolution of social media for yourself?
Look, I honestly only use social media to connect with family and friends. That was initially all that I used it for. Facebook was, all the people that I went on Kentucky tour with, or all the people I went to high school with. It was just reconnecting with them. And then I actually wasn't interested in going onto Instagram, to be honest, back when it first came out. And then people were phasing off Facebook and going onto Insta. And I'm like, shit, I need to keep up with the times. Yeah. Now I need to move on to Instagram. And again, I didn't use it for anything. I actually didn't like the whole layout of it. Yeah. And then when my business, started to evolve and take off a little bit, I noticed that people were using Instagram and sharing a lot of posts and things that other people were putting on there. And I thought, holy crap, they're sharing other people's things. I need to start putting stuff on there so people can start being influenced by what my messaging. So, I'm very cautious about what images I portray on there. You'll see me training in my gym with in the back of my house with bags and the worst lighting ever. And then you've got the polished, really, extreme kind of best lighting, best makeups, hair slicked back, that sort of thing as well. And there's 2 extremes, and I think we need to be careful that we get a balance of both, because if you're constantly consuming the perfection, you're going to be chasing this unrealistic version of yourself. That's not that's not actually real. Social media, you're a social media manager. Elaborate on what that means. Why are you in that job?
I love social media, and I think we can all sit here and say, to some degree, we're guilty of putting out content that we have perhaps altered in some way, whether it's editing photos or editing videos, or even perhaps creating content that might stretch the truth a little bit. And, it's something that I do in my job, right? It's creating content that essentially sells a product or sells a service. That's what marketing and social media is there for, essentially, when it comes to business purposes. Obviously people use it for social purposes as well, but a lot of people do use it for business purposes. And especially when you kind of create a business online or you kind of get to that influencer status as well, it makes sense to use social media to monetize something, right? If you've got a following, you might as well use it to make money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, you know, you also got to think about, well, you know, like where is the line between showing up and being real, being your authentic self, and where's the line between oversharing?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's so many cringe factors on social media at the moment. Like there's so many people that I've had to literally unfollow because I'm like, I
do the same.
Watch your content
anymore.
Like,
I do the same.
I think, you know, we're in the day and age of especially Instagram and TikTok where people are just doing whatever it takes to get a like, to get a share, to get, you know, a brand deal, whatever it might be. And some of it I just watch and I go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to use like some examples that I don't necessarily like consuming, and that is like, say, a day in the life of, or what's on my plate.
Yes.
Or, you know, like follow me for my morning routine, you know, because I can tell you right now, when I watch that sort of content, you know, and don't get me wrong, I know some people watch that content and it really inspires them, or they can really align with that sort of content. But I watch that sort of content and I go, how you are looking on camera during your morning routine is the complete opposite to what I look like when I actually do my real morning routine. When I get out of bed, I've got no eyelashes on, my hair is in a pineapple on top of my head. Yeah. I'm probably wearing, you know, my oldest set of track pants. I'm not wearing some cute Peter Alexander, you know, sleepwear or something like that. And it's kind of like, I understand that the content that you're trying to create is showcasing somewhat of your authentic life.
Yeah, but
it's not.
I don't see that. I don't see that at all. And what you've gotten up 10 minutes before and you've set the camera up to film yourself
putting your makeup on before you actually
climbing out of bed, and then you do the stretch and the covers go over so nicely. You put your fresh slippers on. Like and then you pour the lemon water, the apple cider vinegar.
Which tastes like shit anyway. Like, why?
I know. And I would love to know, like, if anyone out there can comment and let us know, what is it about that sort of content that actually does appeal to you? Because, you know, I think we can both agree that it doesn't appeal to either of us.
And that's why I would never create that kind of content for myself as well. You know, the kind of content that I create is the kind of content that I like to consume as well. And that's the mixture between, you know, fitness related stuff, you know, stuff on my family or my dogs, you know, beauty related stuff and that sort of content, like, you know, a day on the plate or a day in the life of that sort of stuff. I don't enjoy consuming because I'm so aware that chances are it's very much not authentic at the end of the day. Yeah. But some people, because I sometimes read these comments, the comments of people on these sorts of posts, and you know, they get inspiration, they find inspiration in these type of posts,
and they want to know where you're getting that particular shoe from, where are those sneakers from, where is this from, where's that from. One of the ones that I absolutely hate and I cringe a lot at is the and I'm only speaking about this, I speak about this a lot, the thing about mothers where we do the 6 months in, 6 months out, the before and afters. And me and you had this really, you know, interesting conversation about that sort of thing where influencers are putting this on their platforms and they say, this is not a before and after. They put this disclaimer, this is not a before and after. It is a before and after. You were pregnant in one and you're no longer pregnant in the other. So it's literally a before and after of your pregnancy. And they say, you know, I'm not trying to, everyone's journey is different. But you're actually, it's very toxic, you know, it's very much saying, look at my body. You're showcasing that you've been able to bounce back, you know, something that I've spoken about before, bounce back, and other people don't. We're all so completely different. And I think it's very dangerous to send that kind of messaging out into the world, even if you're not genuinely meaning to do it. And I think they actually do it on purpose, come to think of it, because negative comments are still comments. So people that are commenting, you know, not so, you know, positive comments are still giving that person the fuel that they're after. Yeah. And it's still creating those, you know, those posts going up in people's feeds. So they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah. And I think I've got a really close friend that always said that perception is truer than a fact. You know, how people perceive you kind of almost means more than the actual truth.
Yeah.
And I think social media is a great place where you can literally make up any kind of image that you want to portray.
Yeah,
you can make up a brand, you can make up a business, you can even make up a person. And I see it time and time again, especially with people that I've followed for quite a long time that have kind of transitioned themselves or transition their business ideas. And I see what they're kind of putting out there now. And I'm like, that is not real. Like, that is so fake. And I can't follow you anymore because I know that it's not truthful.
Yeah.
And I think we have to be aware of that as well. Like, we all consume content every single day. We're scrolling through the apps, you know, we're reading magazines, we're reading blogs, all of that sort of stuff. Like, we're exposing ourselves to this this kind of content every single day, and that's fine. I do it. I enjoy doing it. But I think we have to be aware of the type of message that it's sending to each of us as well, because it's not always truthful. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that these people that are, you know, executing this sort of content mean to do that or mean to portray that image. But that's how it comes across.
Yeah,
you know
it does. It definitely does. And, you know, people, like, they love it. Like, I don't know what it is that people have lost the ability to turn inwards when they're looking for what shoe to buy or what, you know, what sort of car they want to buy or what their next decision is influenced by the influencer.
Yeah.
They're not going off what their deep down desires are anymore. It's, you know, what's my favorite person doing? What's my favorite bikini model doing now? You know, and that's what they follow. And I think that influencers, they really need to sit back and think about who their audience is and who their potential audience is. Because when I was 16 or 15, I never had a phone or had access to social media.
Yeah.
The other day, you know, I sent you a photo of a girl going to a formal, and she had like this. She was on TikTok creating a post about her formal, and I'm like, I would never do that. I had to click a normal camera with a film in it.
I didn't even make it to my formal.
You know,
I left
you were
school.
banned. You were banned.
I was the naughty child.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Like, I remember when I first started on Instagram, like, I was posting photos of my lunch or the new shoes that I bought and that I, you know, a photo that I took with my iPhone 1.
Yeah.
And now it's, I would never post that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's also that concept of not everyone needs to know everything about you.
No.
And I even think about that when I'm posting content as well. Like, I share a lot on social media. I do. Like, I'm a pretty open person. I've got no qualms about sharing my life. But there's also things that I would just never share.
Yeah.
And I just really feel like some people kind of overshare a little bit. Like, not everyone needs to know everything that you're doing in a day. Not everyone needs to know everything about your mental health issues. Not everyone needs to know everything about your dog. Like,
are you sure?
Yeah.
But no, honestly, no. Coming back to that, the crying. I don't know about you, but when I cry, like, you do not want to see me, and I cannot.
You set up the camera to film yourself cry.
No.
This is so funny. And yeah, I mean, I was talking to you about this previously only because I follow an influencer that I've honestly followed her for like 10 years. And she did a post a couple of months back where she literally set the camera up to film herself crying.
Yeah. Oh, what is with that?
And I just got the ick, like massive cringe factor because, you know, the whole caption as well was like, you know, everyone's got demons and, you know, everyone, it's okay to have shit days.
Yeah.
And I just kind of look at that and be like, firstly, who sets up a camera to film themselves?
Yeah. I can't. Like, that's just, it's too much.
You know, and then secondly, like, not everyone needs to know everything about you. And I couldn't help but go into that post and read the comments because, look, I would say 50% of them were like, you know, here for you, babe, sending love, like, blah, blah, blah. And then 50% of them were thinking exactly what I was thinking, like, what are you trying to do with this post? Like, who sets up a camera to film themselves cry?
Was it different to all her other posts?
Yes.
It was different? Okay.
Yes. And I think it's that whole, like, tapping into people's, like, issues around mindset and self-worth and self-confidence and things like that. And, like, I get the purpose of the post. You're trying to show people your authenticity.
And shed light on mental health.
But cringe. Like, I just can't.
I ugly cry. So I can't even imagine if someone set up a camera, if I set my camera up to film myself crying, like you would unfollow me in a heartbeat. Like it's actually disgusting. Would. Like, you know, and I don't understand why people, all right, maybe like a couple of posts here and there, but then to do it all the time is just, it's very unhealthy. And then, you know, you almost think like me, because I don't post anything like that. All my stuff is very like, it's not social media worthy, as I would say, but I can't imagine doing that. And also just thinking about the people that are watching that, like you said, half of them would be like, oh, babes, I'm here for you. Like, is it a cry for attention? Yeah. Or are you genuinely sharing? Or are you doing it for likes and comments? Like, what are you baiting from that?
I think a lot of it is validation. Like, I actually strongly believe that a lot of social media influencers actually have terrible mental health.
Okay.
And they post, or they feel the need to post for those likes and comments and validation. And it's so interesting when I see certain influencers over time get cancelled. Yeah. You know, we've got that cancel culture, and they get cancelled, and all of a sudden they're not getting those likes, follows, and validation anymore, and they just spiral.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually really interesting to watch. But it also goes to show that the power of social media is so strong as well. And I think all of these sorts of influencers that choose to monetize their social media, a lot of them become, you know, coaches, and or I guess some of the ones that we follow specifically being in the health and fitness industry, you know, a lot of them are some sort of coaches, you know, fitness coaches, nutrition coaches, mindset coaches, life coaches, all of that sort of stuff. But you can't really showcase a qualification online as well. Like, you can, and like I said before, perception is truer than a fact. You can honestly create any sort of business that you like. So many people that I've seen or know, they've done one bodybuilding show, and then all of a sudden
they're a coach.
They're a coach selling fitness programs.
It's crazy.
You know, or they're a fitness coach that has become a life coach. Yeah. You know, like what kind of certification do you even need to become a life coach?
Yeah.
And what do you even got to do for that person? You know, how do you track the progress of a mind coach, you know, or like a mindset coach, you know, and then or like a business coach as well, like fitness coaches that have become
6-figure income. Come and join my team.
Let me help you create a 6 or 7-figure income when I'm renting a house.
Yeah, I know. It's insanity.
If I'm going to invest money in you and your business, you need to have what I don't.
Exactly.
You need to have achieved already what you were trying to sell me. And if you don't have that, and I know you don't have that, then how can I trust that the content that you're putting out there is truthful? You know, and it's such a lie. And, you know, like I said before, I work in marketing, I work in social media. It's very easy to create content to suck people in.
Would you, if someone asked you to create like a suite of content for them, and you knew deep down that genuinely they weren't that person that they're trying to portray, how do you overcome that? Because that's your job.
It is my job. But now I guess I have a little bit of flexibility when it comes to who I work with.
Okay.
Right? So I'm never going to work with someone that's going to negatively affect my image or my values or my morals, because I don't agree with that or I don't align with that. And I think if someone is blatantly lying on social media, it's so unhealthy for the consumers, especially if they've got a large following. You're going to be affecting so many people that we don't really even think about.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, a question for you would be, do you really think influencers are responsible for creating unrealistic standards on how to live your life, or, you know, the type of body that you should have or things you should wear?
Yeah. You know, I never felt that I would be comparing myself to other people, like, because I'm different to everyone, and I've accepted that for a very long time. But it's, you know, you look at the mums on social media, and I always refer to the mum thing because I'm in that phase of my life, but how are they so put together? Like, how are people that are pregnant glowing?
Are they put together, or is that the image they portray?
It, right? So, but it makes you think like, geez, I wake up and I look like hell because I've had the worst night's sleep.
Got an eyelash on my cheek.
Literally. And then you've got these influencers that are waking up and they've got the baby, you know, well put together. They're well put together with their big sunnies on. They're heading out for a coffee. like my pram is disgusting because I've dropped all my coffee all over it. There's milk stains everywhere. And it's like, but then you can't help but compare yourself to what you're seeing on there, because it's like, hold on, I'm a woman, she's a woman. She's got a kid, I've got a kid. She's got a husband that works, I've got a husband that works. And what we can't, like I can't do what she's doing. No, sweetheart, you can't, because she's getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to, like, you're not even getting paid
to be a
you're
mum.
getting paid in hugs and kisses to be a mum and run a household. But it's really difficult.
It's almost like we need to normalize not looking perfect all the time.
And I do that a lot.
I say this with my hands in the air saying I edit my photos.
Yeah.
You know, I will like potentially retouch my skin or whatever before I put a photo online.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people go to extremes when it comes to that as well, like editing the perfect lifestyle. So I think, you know, when it comes to, you know, the sorts of people that you're talking about, it's really kind of normalizing the things that are ugly. You know, nobody wants to see things that are ugly, you know, because at the end of the day, if we're talking about an influencer that's monetizing their brand, we don't want to buy ugly.
No.
You know what I mean? We don't want to buy uncomfortable.
But then there's some people that do relate to that. There's some people that do relate to the normal, like the normal posts, you know, where they go, oh, like I can relate to you so much because, you know, I also had a rough night, not the crime posts, but, you know, there's some people that do like it. And I think that the older we get, the more that we're seeing through the bullshit, which is really good to see. Like a lot of people I know have started to unfollow that unrealistic stuff, you know, that they're consuming, which is really good. And I think the more that we do that, the more that we start to call people out on their bullshit, the better it will be in 10 years' time when the younger generation are growing up with more social media platforms. I can't imagine what's next. You know, there's TikTok, there's going to be all this other stuff. And I would love to see that. Not people being cancelled, but just the shit that they're putting out there, like just being called out.
It's so hard though, because you've got people like the Kardashians, as an example.
Oh my goodness.
Influencer family, got their own TV show, everything. And I can't help but follow all of them. Even though I know they edit all their they edit all their photos.
Yeah.
I know that the content that they put out there is not real. Like it's so inauthentic, you know, because they're trying to create an image and they've got several brands, and I understand that. But I can't help but watch them. It's
what
like
are you watching
them
for?
It's like a car crash that I can't look away from.
But do you watch them to cringe? Because I sometimes do that. I continue watching people or looking at their stories to cringe and just to confirm that I still like hate their content.
That's just to confirm that I'm still better than you.
Why do you watch the Kardashians? I can't.
I just think it's hilarious.
Okay.
Like I remember last time I went to America, if we were ever not going out and doing something, I'd be like, we've got to put the Kardashians on. Like I've got to watch it because it's just so dramatic, like over dramatic. Yeah. It's so...
I guess that's why I love Jersey Shore.
It's that reality. And I don't watch reality TV. Like it's just not... Reality TV in Australia is the worst thing ever. But I can't look away from the Kardashians. And I think it's the same with a lot of other influencers that I follow as well. Like I can never relate to any of the content that you post. We are not alike in any way, but I can't look away. Yeah. You know, it's just, and nothing that you put out there is ever going to influence me. I just can't look away.
It's like, you know, every week my mum used to buy, Women's Day or New Idea or That's Life.
New Idea.
Yeah, New Idea or That's Life. And like it was just shit, right? So they would put like a grab line on the front page, you know, like the soup diet or whatever, right? And so my mum would, the cabbage diet. My mum would buy it, and the content that she was buying it for was about that big. Yeah. Right? So it was like the smallest part of the magazine, but you'd buy the whole thing. And you'd just like flick through it and you'd consume whatever was in there. But every single week she wasn't getting anything out of it, but she just continued to buy it and continue to buy it and continue to buy it, right?
Well, she was being influenced.
Yeah, in some way, but it's the same thing. So with social media, you just continue to scroll, you continue to look, you continue to like.
But have you ever been influenced by social media to buy something?
Don't know. Oh, maybe magnetic lashes. But that was genuine.
Did they even work?
They worked. Okay, plug. If you're listening, magnetic lash, whoever's got them, they actually work. Oh, so just so you know. But
I need them to fix my lashes today.
But some. Yeah, I don't. The day in the life stuff, no, not at all. I don't believe, like, you know, I've got a lot to say, but they do put a lot of stuff out there, and I see people just like completely frothing over it, and they just want to be like these people, and I'm like, that's their full-time job. Yeah. A lot of these bikini models as well that have done their shows, they've won their pro cards, and now that's their full-time job to be influencers. But you know what I think? I think what's going to happen if all these social media platforms one day collapse? Yeah. What are you going to do? Do you have anything else behind you to continue your lifestyle and the influence that you lead? What are you going to do?
I think it's such a good question to discuss, because I think for a lot of these people, it is short term. And that's why, you watch people that get cancelled and they really start to struggle because they've potentially been doing YouTube or social media for X amount of years. They've got no life skills. They've got no business skills or work life skills. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they've got to go find themselves a job at like 25, 30. What are you doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just really interesting to watch, and it's an interesting discussion to have. But I can definitely say that I've been influenced to buy things on social media. Not so much TikTok, but more so Instagram, because I follow a lot of like activewear brands.
Oh, activewear, that sort of
stuff. But I've never watched an influencer be like, hey guys, so many of you have been asking me. Babe, no one's been asking you. No one has been asking you. Like, God, but I've never really been influenced by that sort of content. Yeah. No one's asking me like about like my hair extensions, so I just thought I'd share the brand. No one's been asking, firstly. Secondly, this is a paid ad from that brand. And I just can't get on board with it because it's not real.
I'm going to do it tonight with my magnetic lashes. I'm like, you've been asking. I'm going to do it. And you're going to film it and we're going to monetize this. But it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. The only thing I ever put on there, honestly, is my oats and my protein. And that's it, because that's the only thing that I like swear by that I love, right? Yeah. And I think, as well, people, they may not actually like the products that they're selling, but they'll do it anyway to make a buck. Yeah. It's so sad.
But I think that there's a difference, because I've had quite a few brands contact me to, advertise on my social media or have me create content for them, and that's fine. And I have done it before and I will do it again. But I need to be able to align with the brand. They have to align to my values and my morals. Otherwise, I don't care about the money. Like, it's not important to me, because I want to make sure that I'm putting out content that I agree with, but also my followers are going to agree with as well. I feel like you can really see when someone puts out content that is nothing like anything they've posted before. And you're like, I know you just got a massive paycheck for that, and that's it. And I think when it comes to influencing people with content as well, I think another interesting question is, are we creating content to influence people, or are we creating content now for just likes and follows? Because I think the new age of TikTok, we've got all of these trends. Yeah. People just doing these dances. Hilarious. Could you imagine me doing a dance? But they get, you're imagining it, aren't you? You are. But they're doing these dances.
Yeah, for likes and engagement.
Blowing up. Like, they're
going viral.
Famous for doing these. Like, I would rather roll in broken glass than do a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You're going to do it though. Just as an experiment, Lyndall is doing a TikTok dance to see how far it goes.
I'll get 2 views. Yeah. Let me tell you.
You know what I've seen the rise of? The plus size movement, right? But there's also this thing where it says, and I hate it, it's bodies like this can also look like this. And then you have these skinny girls like really trying to get those rolls out. Like, they try and,
like your after photo is my everyday photo.
And it's like they're not plus size, or they're not even like curvy. They don't have rolls, and they're trying to fit into the trends just so they can go viral and get shared and all that sort of thing. And it's like they're making them like morphing their body into that way to be like the girls that are trending at the moment. It's insanity.
Well, I think even like that sort of content has been done for many, many years in like
the reverse
weight loss campaigns where people kind of pull down their undies to make them look really flattering and say this is a before photo, and then they pull out the undies so it's a little bit more flattering, and then that's the after photo. Yeah. And the whole transition took a total of 5 seconds. Yeah. So I think this is just kind of a different form of that sort of content. True. Where people are, again, trying to showcase what a realistic body looks like, but actually not. You know what I mean?
Like they can't do it.
Let's be honest, we're going to take 50 selfies and we're going to post the best one. Mm-hmm. We're going to post the one where we look the slimmest, where our, we're on a nice
best angle.
Our hair looks nice. We're going to post the best one. Yeah. And we all do it, right? But it's the same with that sort of content. Like if I take a photo standing front on, I'm not going to look as nice, or what I would consider nice, as if I was on a slight angle with, my booty popped and all of that sort of stuff.
On your left side.
It's always got to be my left side, guys. My left side is my good side, and she makes, firsthand see the bullying that I have to receive from Sandra every single day. No, but it's so true though. If you post an ugly angle of yourself, you're going to look ugly. If you post a good angle of yourself where you feel confident and you feel sexy, you're going to look so much better. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I understand the purpose of the content. You're kind of trying to create a realistic expectation around what an ideal body should look like or an ideal woman should look like. But there's no ideal, like an authentic body shape is the one that you have. Mm-hmm. How it looks all the time, not just on your best or your worst angles.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess when it comes to filtering that sort of content, because I think it is hard. Mm-hmm. We have, I follow so many people, and you're constantly being shown these sorts of images, and now you've got that new feature on Instagram where people can show other people's content and you share other people's stories and this and that. Then you're automatically consuming.
You're getting other stuff,
from other people as well, and then you go onto the discover pages on TikTok and Instagram, and then you're consuming that content, even though you don't necessarily want to. How do you filter your content to not have a negative effect on you?
I just go, whatever I see that doesn't sit right with me or makes me feel an emotion that is negative, I seriously just unfollow unless I want to continue watching the cringe a little bit more. But because sometimes I get...
Or send it to you and be like, oh, babe, that's so cringe.
Sometimes I look at it and I get inspired at the cringe stuff because I'm like, I don't want to be that. And then I will post something that's doing the opposite to what that's making me feel like because I want to send a completely different message. So I just, I look at it and if it's making me feel ick or negative or making me question my value or my worth, then I unfollow. Yeah. And sometimes it's, my own friends or people that I consider friends or close with, and I will do it because I'm protecting my mindset, I'm protecting how I think about myself, and that is so important, How about yourself?
Very similar, actually. And I think now that I do work more so in the social media marketing space, I'm more aware of the type of content that people put out and whether or not it's edited. Because I remember I used to look at, I'm going to use the Kardashians again because I think everyone knows what they look like. But, I used to look at photos of them and be like, why do they have such a perfect hourglass body? Why do they never seem to age? And, what I didn't realize is that they had all of these surgeries, to help them look like that. And I wouldn't even be, obviously they've got personal trainers and chefs and, I get that side of things, but, I would have never considered something like surgery to help them achieve that perfect image.
Well, look how they've completely done the opposite of the hourglass to now.
Well, it's really interesting to watch that transformation as well, and it really kind of showcases how, those sorts of influencers can really navigate trends and really, I guess, set the trends as well.
They do.
And I think, you see the transition. I think we spoke about this in the first podcast, the transition of body image from, back in the 90s where it's that heroin chic into, the more curvy sort of bodies and, body acceptance and all of that sort of stuff. And now we're heading back into that heroin chic, sort of phase because of what influencers like that are doing. And it's so hard not to look at that and be like, oh, she looks really good. She looks really good in that dress or that outfit. I want to look like that. And I think we have to be aware of those sorts of internal conversations and how they're actually affecting us as well, because I know for a fact that I do not have that heroin chic look. And I will never have that. I am a big booty bitch.
Yeah.
I am here speaking for my sisters.
Yes, sister.
And I will never have that body. Yeah. And, you know, if this was me 10 years ago, when I maybe didn't feel as confident in myself, I would have looked at those sort of images and be like, oh, why did I look
you
like
want to
that?
look like that.
You know, it was probably almost a good thing 10 years ago that we didn't have such, you know,
prevalence of that stuff.
Of these sorts of platforms that showcase all of that stuff all the time, because I would have looked at that and compared myself and then felt really deflated because of it. Whereas now I kind of look at that and be like, that's fake. She's probably had surgery. Maybe she's had a gastric sleeve. Who even knows?
Yeah. And it's not even body image as well. Like, oh my God, we can talk about this forever, but we won't. But also things like weddings as well, relationships, like people post their highlight reel, you know, as you say, people post that their relationship is amazing and they're so in love, and we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, you know. People like lash out on weddings and they, you know, spend all this money to have this perfect wedding and make it look like so grand and everything. We don't know if they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment and struggling outside of that.
Yeah, but I can help you make 8 figures. I can help you make 8 figures even though I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment in like But I can help you make 8 figures.
See? The power.
The power. And I think it's really important that we are aware of where we're investing our time.
Yep.
You know, what kind of content we're investing our time in, because I know I could spend hours just scrolling.
Yep.
And also where we're going to invest our money as well, because like I said before, it's very easy to create an image online. You know, and it's very easy to create a very strong marketing campaign to run on social media to get people to invest in your image.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily real.
I know. Crazy.
You know? And I think when it comes to especially the coaching space, it's so easy to do because do these people even have qualifications?
I know, that's scary.
So I think we do have to really do our research and not necessarily be sucked into, you know, all of these campaigns straight away, because like I said, it's very easy to create an image.
It's almost an avatar, an online avatar, an online virtual world. I think that's what that guy, Mark Zuckerberg, wanted to do with that whole, what's that thing he created? The space in...
Oh, the metaverse.
Yeah, that. Like where you create this, you know, this
image.
this whole thing of yourself. And I think that's where people are heading, to be honest. It's quite scary.
Well, I think it's scary because people have so much more confidence online as well.
Yeah.
You can, like I said, you can be whoever you want to be online and you can be your most confident self. I experience it with dating apps all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious. Because people will jump on and be like, oh, hey, sexy. And I'd be like, ew. Like, ick. Like, would you come up to somebody in a bar and say, hey, sexy? Like, you would never do that.
Yeah, they get...
But you have this, like, big dick energy online that you would never have in real life.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with it. I just have to immediately unfollow it because it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. And the funniest thing is when people find you on dating apps and then they slide into your DMs. Even better. Because I haven't matched you on a dating app for a reason.
Yeah, but you're finding me online.
But you're finding me online and thinking that you have the audacity to slide into my DMs like I'm going to respond. You know, like my knight in shining armor. And this is why I'm single. It is a cesspool out there. But yeah, I think you have to be aware of the content that you're consuming, the people that you're following, and, you know, whether it's prevalent to your lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any other comments?
No, just don't feel bad if you block out the noise, you know, and we say this as like all the time, filter your life, filter the stuff that you're consuming, even if it is family, friends, anything like that. If it makes you feel like shit, block it out. Get rid of it, because that's just not going to help you in any shape or form every single day if that's what you're consuming. Because, you know, subconsciously you might be thinking, oh, I'm just quickly scrolling, but you've seen that for 1 second and that'll play in your mind over and over. And I know it from experience that this is what happens. So, feel free to...
But I think it's even the comments that people leave, like the audacity of people to get on people's posts and comment negatively.
Yeah.
Like, firstly, who has that much spare time?
I know.
Because if you have that much spare time, I need some of it. Yeah. Because I don't have that much spare time. But also, I think it goes back to that whole, like, people have this, you know, confidence online that they would never have in real life. Yeah. Because you would never walk up to somebody and be like, you look fat.
Yeah, yeah.
But you all of a sudden you have the confidence to do it online. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just think it's so backwards. And I think it's so unnecessary because, look, I've got pretty thick skin and I've received a lot of terrible comments and it doesn't really bother me. But for some people it might. It might really bother them. And I think we do have to be really conscious if we are going to write a comment, what kind of comment that is, you know? Is it going to hurt somebody in a way?
But then they can go and cry online. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to create a video where you want to film yourself crying, then I guess that is acceptable. But no, I think, you know, I don't really see a need for that. And I see it all the time and I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really crazy. So I think, I would agree with everything that you said, you know, filter your content, filter your life, and don't be afraid to get rid of people.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Yeah.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed our episode today on social media. Please pop your comments below. If you have any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear them. And of course, if you like this podcast, please take a screenshot and share it on your social media. Until next time.